Welcome back to Alley Chats. I'm your host, Rob Southgate. Alley Chats is like a virtual artist's alley featuring interviews with artists, filmmakers, podcasters, writers, and really any creative person you might find at a pop culture convention. My goal is to help draw attention to cool people and hopefully help them get some new fans. I want this podcast to raise up these amazing people and to inspire you, the listener, to chase your dreams as well. You can follow Alley Chats on Facebook under Alley Chats Podcast and join in the conversations. I'll add more social media in the future, but for now, that is the best place to interact with us. You can also email me directly if you would like to be a guest or have a guest suggestion. My email is rob@smgpods.com. Welcome to Alley Chats, the show where it's kind of a virtual artist alley. What I'm trying to do with it now is bring in not just comic artists and then the occasional other. I'm trying to make this so it's the real experience. If I had a Comic-Con, this is who I'd want to see. Filmmakers, musicians, actors, comic book artists, authors, you name it, musicians. And today we continue this. I brought in filmmaker Jason Huls. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Did I say your name right, Jason?
Huls, yes.
Huls, okay. You never know. So I had one guy on here and I said his whole thing, it's spelled a certain way, and then I get to the end and he's like, you say it with the like oolot over the U, and I'm like, what?
Nope.
There's no oolot. What? So I ask every time. So Jason, your company is 10 Wing Media, correct?
Yes.
And you are you strictly a horror filmmaker, or just are you like, no, I'm a filmmaker who dabbles in horror mostly? I would
classify myself as a horror filmmaker. That tends to be where my interests go. I do also, I enjoy documentaries. I've produced one.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say horror is pretty much where I live.
We're going to come back to that doc because I want to hear about it. But before we do, why don't you, rather than me start rapid firing questions at you, why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. I am a horror author. I'm a member of the Horror Writers Association. I'm a filmmaker. I live in the Chicago suburbs with my family and my dogs. I have worked on a lot of different film projects, a lot of different stories. I run something called the Mythos Minute podcast, which is a horror fiction and poetry podcast in 1 minute chunks.
Oh, I love it.
Every episode is 1 minute. So I just finished up a short film called The Fawn. It's kind of a cosmic horror, folk horror blend. And I'm going to be putting that out sometime soon. And I'm also working on a collection of short stories. So I pretty much always have something to do. There's no downtime for me.
Yeah. So we'll talk about Fawn for a second. I watched it today, and I'm a big fan. I'm watching it. Here's why I'm a big fan. You just said it. I love the folk horror. I have that box set. I don't know if you saw the box set. Love it. Cosmic horror, yes, bring it on. and when I watched it, it was funny because I was like, I have to ask him like what inspired him, because I'm watching it going, I'm seeing a few things. I'm seeing like The Witch and what A24 does. I'm seeing a little bit of Giallo in there, some of your lighting and the close-ups. I'm like, oh my God, this is the kind of stuff that I love to see because it's so different than slasher, walking through woods, chop. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, fine. Not that I don't love that too, but this kind of lit something up. And I was like, I got to ask him, if you had to pick something that inspired this, what would you say was the inspiration?
I love that question. So I would say, I'm glad you said The Witch, because that honestly is one of the inspiration films for my film. Something that stood out to me from the first time I saw it was just the sense of isolation. I think when you watch The Witch, you just feel that this family is screwed. I mean, if anything goes wrong, there's no one around.
Frame one, right?
Yeah. So so that is definitely an influence. I'm glad that you picked up on that, because that tells me I'm kind of going in the right direction here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a big David Lynch fan too. So
Yep. My wheelhouse too.
yeah. So I just when I sat down to make this, I just wanted to blend those things together, and I had a really cool location. And honestly, the film came about because I had access to this great location. Um, a buddy of mine had just shot his film out there, and we needed to do some extra work. And I'm like, hey, man, what do you think about doing this short film? And he enjoyed the idea as well. So we were able to make it work. It took a couple different tries. Couple different people involved, but we finally, after about a year, were able to schedule it. Because weather, a lot of it's outside. We had to wait for the weather to get right again. But yeah. I would say definitely that's a long way to say The Witch and David Lynch.
The Witch and David Lynch.
Yeah.
There's got to be a little Argento in there too, because the I was seeing that too.
Yeah. It's safe to say, I think.
But The Witch is going to be a big one, because I felt it. I mean, the minute I saw your female lead, it was not The Witch. It's not the same thing, but I got a vibe, and I was like, oh, I gotta ask about it.
Good.
And I thought she was great. You found a good actress for that. That was good.
I will pass that along. She'll probably hear this, but yeah, her name's Norm McCurdy. She's very good. And The Witch, the other just fun fact, the witch in the film is actually my wife. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should have stayed through the credits. I did not.
Yeah. No, she stepped in and did a great job. I think I was really happy to be able to. I do a lot of these films, and she's been little parts of them here and there.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to talk about something, a project where she had so much to do with it.
Now this film, and then we'll get off of this film because there's other things to talk to you about. But this film, is this I don't want to call it a sizzle reel, but have you got a bigger story to tell with this?
I always have a bigger story to tell.
I didn't know if you were like, no, it's like when you write short stories and you go, yeah, I could expand, but really, it's my short story.
No, I mean, I think I'm kind of a natural world builder. With just about everything I do, my default mode is to start thinking about connections.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if there was an opportunity to pursue it, absolutely, I could do more with it, no doubt. And I'm, with the short film I did prior, called That Damned Yellow Raincoat. That was a short, about 8 minutes long. And one thing I'm trying to do is I mentioned the book of short stories that I'm working on. I'd like to film a lot of those, because I'd like to be
cool.
My whole thing is, I kind of feel like one hand could wash the other, like if someone reads the book and they want to see what I've done for the films, then they can, those are out there. Or if someone discovers it through the films and wants to see more and read about it, then there's the book. You know what I mean? Like I want to kind of have that 1-2 punch.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. In fact, I'm surprised there aren't more authors out there doing that, because to me, okay, now I'm putting on my marketing hat. Integrated marketing is really the whole thing. And when you take a project, integrated project management, I'm coining a phrase here, is the same thing. Look at like George R.R. Martin. When I remember reading the comic version of Game of Thrones just before the show came out.
Mm-hmm.
And in the foreword, he says, yeah, I've got the book, but I love this comic because it's a completely different experience with it. And they did things that I didn't. They picked up on things that I didn't in what I wrote. And he said, I can't wait to see what the show does. I'm hoping the show is popular. And I was like, he has no idea. But it is where you integrate all of them. As a fan, you get the experience from all these different places. I want to see what you do with your short stories.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know why more people don't. I mean, you end up sitting with one idea for a very long time. So that is something I've discovered doing that through doing the partnership of the film and the story. But it is fun because it is such a different thing. And when you're writing the screenplay, I wrote the screenplay first.
Okay.
Normally, I think going forward, I would write fiction first and then adapt it into the screenplay. But just working with both art forms, they're different animals. And when you're working in the fiction version, you're writing that sort of uh, interior dialogue or interior monologue that the characters have that
Right.
you don't write for the screen. And then when you're working in the film, the actors are bringing things that you didn't think of. It's different experiences with the same idea that I really enjoy.
I'm with you on all of that. As a writer, you've got books out, I'm assuming.
The short story collection is my first actual full book that is mine.
Okay. You've been
Otherwise, I've
involved
published
in okay, but have you done any, like, when there's a collection and you contribute into it, so
Oh,
you've
yeah.
gotten published that way? Okay, that's what I
For sure.
thought. But you've got your first short story collection coming out.
Yes.
Any idea on a time frame with that?
Well, I'm about 40,000 words in, and I'd like to make it about 80. So
Okay.
I would say first half of next year, safely, just to give me time to get a good editor and do all of the prep work and cover work and everything. So I would say the first half of next year.
So next year, when people walk by your table at our Alley Chats virtual convention here, there's going to be a book sitting there.
There's going to be a book.
And people will
Yes.
be able to buy it. What I'll do for those of you listening is once that's out, as long as Jason alerts me that it's out, I'll make sure I put a link so you can buy it in the show notes. Also put links to like your website and other places people can interact with you, because interaction is the whole game. They can sign up for your newsletter. Everybody sign up for his newsletter. Trust me, that is fuel for people that are creators that are not, Stephen King. And no shade to him. I think he uses it as fuel too. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on social media so much. Okay. So your podcasts, always near and dear to my heart. You've got the Mythos Minute podcast. You've done other podcasts though, right?
I have, yes. Some friends and I did a podcast called B Movie Mania for about 5 years, where we would just review B movies.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. But as you know, podcasting can be a lot of work. So we've slowed that one down quite a bit. We do just a little bit here and there, just to kind of keep the pulse. But mainly, I mean, we all just kind of wanted to do different projects, so that's kind of why that one has slowed down. But yeah, I still do the Mythos Minute where, and actually this recent batch of episodes that's coming out now is my first real attempt at outreach and getting submissions from the entire world.
Yeah.
And I have gotten submissions from all over the world, which is pretty cool. And so what I do is, I take those, and the ones that get accepted, I will perform and record on video and put it out both video and audio.
Very cool. So there's another thing to subscribe to. Subscribe to the Mythos Minute podcast. And, I mean, B Movie Mania, you might as well throw a subscription on that too.
Why not?
How fun is that?
It's fun.
But
B Movie Mania is mostly comedy. Like we have a lot of fun. We always keep it positive because nobody wants to hear somebody rip on something,
No, and that's something, as I've dealt with so many podcasters, a lot of them when they start up, they want to give their opinions and they think it's funny to say all the negative stuff. And I always tell them, if you're doing a show about B movies, it's because the people listening are fans of B movies.
Sure.
They don't need to hear you trashing the hell out of it.
No.
And we did a lot of TV shows, and I remember I had a few people that would do shows and they'd trash the hell out of the show. And they're like, I go, people are writing in saying, do you just hate this show? Like, I feel bad listening to you. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
It should be, we all dig this. Let's share and get it going.
Yeah.
So, okay. It- let's switch gears a little bit here. For you, uh, I know you said you're primarily a horror writer and filmmaker. Has it always been horror? And what attracted you to it? Ooh, a two-parter.
Ooh. I have always kind of been attracted to it. Like I wasn't like a kid watching horror films or anything. I think the first horror film I saw was Predator, um, back in the day. But I think what I like about it is the genre is very fertile for your imagination. You know, you can do just anything in the horror genre. I feel like, and the stakes are always very primal. So you know, everybody sort of understands survival. You
Yeah.
know, and and so I think that's what kind of attracted me to it. I would say role playing games is actually the thing that got me into the genre the most.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
were playing horror role playing, or were you just finding the horror elements in what you were doing and going, I'm so attracted to this?
well, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons like everybody else, and there I my family was friends with the Smith family, and Lester Smith is a game designer who's worked for TSR and did a lot of work in all kinds of games. But at the time, he created a game called Dark Conspiracy, which I had access to because we knew him, and I absolutely fell in love with that game. I am still in love with that game. It's the sort of near dark future, and there are aliens and creatures of any type that you want trying to take over the world and do terrible things.
Okay.
And you are one of the only people that know about this, and you are trying to stop it. So it's sort of shades of X Files, and
I was going to
it's
say,
sort of
I think Mulder walked around saying that and nobody believed him for a long
right.
time.
Yes, so it's that vibe, and you can kind of it's meant to be able to incorporate any sort of horror creature that you love into the
Sure.
game. And so man, my friends and I, man, we played that for years. So that game is what sort of then got me, oh well, what are these films about, and what are these books about, and so that was kind of my portal into the genre.
I love it. So
Yeah,
of that type of game, other than Dark Conspiracy, are there other horror games that you like? You're like, these are must plays.
must plays. I've been out of the game for quite a while, so
Okay.
anything I say is probably going to be old. Um, I mean, Call
Yeah,
of
but it might be new
Cthulhu.
to somebody. So go with
Yeah,
old.
okay. Call of Cthulhu. I
Of
enjoyed.
course. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with Ravenloft, even.
Oh my
You know,
God. I used to play Ravenloft. I loved that when I was in high school. And
yeah.
my friends they wanted to do D&D, and they're like, we want to go fight dragons. And I'm like, but there's vampires
Oh
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
sorts of creepy crap going on in this game. So I'd get every like fifth time I'd get them to play Ravencloft, and I'm like, this is or Ravenloft. Oh
yeah.
God, that what a great game! I forgot about it.
It's a really good genre, and I think Ravenloft is still around.
It is. I've
I
seen it
wish I
around.
had more time to game these days. That is a regret I have. But
When we retire, we'll do online gaming. It'll be you and me, and we'll get some other nerds that have been too busy to play and
yes,
imagine the game we'll have. I used to play with my friend Chris, who owned the Blue Box Cafe. Big nerd.
yeah,
Uh, he passed away a little while ago. I mention him quite often. In fact, that's a puppet version of him, which is
okay,
kind of creepy. But we played, and I mean, because this guy was such a nerd and so creative, I mean, I'd never played games the way we played them, and I
yeah.
have a feeling you and I would do the same thing.
I think so, man. I'm
We'd
in.
break those games,
I am definitely in because that
but
is
we got to
those
wait till we're retired. We got a ways to go.
a little ways, a little ways. But that was a huge part of my life. For a long time, we would game almost every day when I was a kid. So that did so much for me in terms of story creation. And
It's an amazing tool, right? People use
yeah,
those story cubes. I see authors like they teach their kids with story cubes. I'm like, that's a great one. The next step better be gaming like this and talking about it with Molly, with our daughter. When she started getting introduced to it, we talked about that. Guess what? She's a writer now.
yeah,
I think it happens.
it's I think it's natural. Like if you're into gaming, to go into a different creative pursuit is it's just a natural thing to do.
So, switching off gaming,
Hmm.
who are your favorite authors? And it's a BS question, okay? Because everybody's like, but I have so many. It's like, no, right now, if I were to say, tell me 3 authors that you're like, yeah, everybody should be reading these. Give me 3.
Mm.
No judgment either.
No, okay. I am. I, I read "Song for the Unraveling of the World" by Brian Evanson recently,
Ooh, that sounds like a cool title.
and I just fell in love with it. Like it's a collection of short stories, and it is just 100% my vibe. It is very much sort of characters meeting uh, circumstances that sort of bend reality in different ways, and that's what I love. I love it
Yeah.
when characters encounter the absurd or abnormal, and so that book really stood out to me. So that let's see. Wait, did you, what was it horror books or was it books?
Nope, books.
Books.
Because I figure that we're inspired by lots of different
Yeah,
things. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sometimes if I'm interviewing a horror author or a romance author, all they mention are those, which might be their biggest inspirations.
Hmm.
But then I've also had, like a horror author and they mentioned Tom Clancy, and you're like, but you love how he writes, you know?
um, I also really, I mean, The Expanse.
Oh my God.
It probably one of the best series I've ever read. Just enjoyment and pacing and characters, and somehow they raised the stakes for 9 books straight, and and like and then stick the landing. I
Right.
mean, wow, that's just it's that series to me is such an achievement. So I would say The Expanse, James S. A. Corey, which is
Yeah.
the 2 guys, but and then I mean I gotta say Stephen King. Honestly, I mean he's hugely
Like I said, no
influential.
judgment.
I
People
read The
get weird
Dark
about,
Tower.
yeah.
So that The Dark Tower was again, I think a big influence on me, just because I I, I loved the traveling through different realities,
Yeah.
and the gunslinger. To me that was just a fantastic series too. So those are my
It's funny. The things you're mentioning are very much world building, but not your traditional. I'm going to have this, and this is the center of it. It's like Dark Tower. That he did all that world building, and it's like insane when you try to connect the dots.
yeah,
But it all fits. It all
yeah,
works.
and it's very I don't know, like there's a feeling to it, and a scope to it that just to me is so impressive.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then I also read The Shining and Doctor Sleep, and so yeah, I mean, I think he's Stephen King, man. He is who he
Right.
is for a reason.
That's why I tell people no judgment, because I think that because he's so big and been around for so long, people feel like, well, do I say Stephen King? If he inspired you, if he's the man. I mean, for me, he was.
Yeah,
And now I'm a huge fan of his son. Joe Hill is amazing.
I've read a little bit of the Lock and Key.
Oh, Lock and Key's a great series. You should pick up 20th Century Ghosts. You like short stories. His short stories are really solid.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying him. And then Paul Tremblay's the other guy that I'm like obsessed with.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he has been on my radar forever, and
Yeah.
I have not yet gotten to his stuff.
Yeah, let me tell you, in Cabin at the End of the World, when I read it way before the movie came out, which I like the movie, but the book is amazing.
Yeah.
There's something that happens like I don't know what page, like 174. It was enough that it prompted me to go on Instagram, find Paul Tremblay and say, hey, Paul, I'm reading Cabin at the End of the World. Why don't you go blank yourself? And he wrote back and was like, I know what page you're on. I was like, that's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awful. It's one of those moments that like it scarred me in a very bad way forever.
Yeah.
Which is why I love that type of writing, the horror, because I don't want to be scarred, but I like it to elicit emotion, to elicit some type of, reaction.
Yeah.
So yeah. Not that it's about the people I love, but I love those examples. Those are really good. And Dark Tower, tough to beat. I remember when I first started reading that, he said, I don't know how long the series is going to be. I might do 40 books. I may never finish it. And then for him to actually kind of finish it and have this really interesting thing, it's like, I think that's kind of a masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I'm very excited that Mike Flanagan is adapting it into the series.
Yeah.
I think he's if I had to pick a filmmaker to do that, he would be at the top of the list. So
yeah, he gets it. He's a really interesting guy. Did you see Midnight Mass?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What a series.
It's so good. Yeah. He's fantastic.
That's the same kind of thing where like you're watching it and you think you know what's going on, but as it's going on, it's not just like you said, The Expanse. It gets to the end of each chapter and you're like, wow, each book would be a chapter. Same thing here. It gets to the end of an hour and you go, I'm so propelled into the next thing. It wasn't cheap. I'm still so interested, and they keep flipping cards and I don't know still what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
So that by the end, you're just like, I'm so invested in everything.
And yes, I feel like he's very good at just characterization and just creating a really compelling story.
Yeah.
So, pairing him up with the Dark Tower would be
it's perfect, right? So people can check out, they can't check out Fawn yet. You're going to have it at film festivals, but they can check out your website at 10wingmedia.com. I've also you sent me your social media links. I'm going to put those in the show notes.
Great.
So everybody follow him, follow Jason, get his newsletter, subscribe to stuff. That's how you support filmmakers. That's how you support any creative. Share his stuff. Tell people about it. If you have a fan of folk horror, man, if that hit my inbox from a friend, I would be so happy that they sent me that. So remember that. You've got friends that are going to be into what Jason does, and you want to share that with them. Jason, what is the best social media outlet for people to interact with you?
I would say probably Instagram is the one I'm on the most.
Okay.
And for any of them, I'm pretty much at Jason Huls, and I'm not hard to find. But yeah, probably honestly, Instagram and Facebook probably.
I'm going to say it again though, since Fawn is just coming out, going to be at film festivals. If you are a film fan, if you go to festivals, even if you don't, you should keep track of where Fawn is going to show. Start supporting it, sharing things about it, get people to see this. I found it really fantastic. I was telling Jason, I'm going to write a review of it for Shortheads. It's another side project we have where we talk about short films and indie films. I'm going to put a review on there, and I'm going to start letting people I know in the festival arena, hey, keep your eyes open for when he submits, because this is really one you want to have on your festival. Jason, good luck with all of this.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on. We'll have you on in the future. In fact, I'm going to invite you on to Ink Blots, which is the show where I interview authors, but I want your book to come out before we do that.
Yep. It'll be
okay.
Soon.
So you are invited to that. And Jason, thanks again, man.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You can connect with me on social media or via email. All the links are found in the show notes. Oh, and it would really help me if you would rate and review this show on whatever platform you use to listen to this podcast. Good reviews help others find the show, which ultimately helps these incredible guests get more exposure. Alley Chats is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted, produced, and edited by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks again for listening to Alley Chats. And don't forget to support